Hi there, thanks for joining me once again. And what I want to talk about today is money, finance, economy. Now, I've come to realise over the past few years that the general population is very ignorant about how the economy is run. And this became evident during lockdown when Rishi Sunak was the Chancellor of the Exchequer, and he made money available for furlough, and he did that by means of quantitative easing. And quantitative easing is a euphemism, and it just means money printing. Now, money printing is something that if you or I did it, we would be put in prison. That would be counterfeiting money, making fake money. But somehow, when the Chancellor of the Exchequer does it, it's perfectly okay. Now, most people don't even really understand why that would be problematic. So let me give you a little explanation of what quantitative easing does. So let's think about a bottle of wine, and let's make it white wine. Okay, so generally speaking, a bottle of wine that you can buy in the UK is 75 centilitres or 750 millilitres or 3/4 of a litre, depending on how you want to measure it. Okay, so you think about your glass bottle. Now, if you were to quantitative ease your wine, what you would do is you would get maybe a litre bottle, and you would pour your wine into the litre bottle and fill the rest up with water. It doesn't look all that different, and probably doesn't taste all that different, but only 3/4 of it is actually wine. The rest of it is water, but it's all mixed in, so you can't really tell. So what you're made to think is, I've actually got more wine now. And then you think, well, we need some more wine, so let's get a bigger bottle. And you get a 2-litre bottle, and you pour your litre of mixture, we'll call it, into the 2-litre bottle, fill the rest up with water, and now actually we've got more water than we have wine. And eventually you get to a point where you fill a whole bath with water, and you've only got within that your 75 centilitres of wine. You've hardly got any wine, it's barely wine. That's essentially where we are in terms of the value of the pound. Now, that might all sound confusing in terms of how does that really relate to the pound. Well, once upon a time, the pound was regulated by gold. So the value of gold regulated the value of the pound. Well, that doesn't happen anymore because we have what's called a fiat currency. And I think pretty much every country in the world now has a fiat currency. And actually, some of the wars that are being fought, particularly in the Middle East, are wars relating to fiat currencies, because the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, they want all currencies to be fiat currencies. Now, a fiat currency, the word fiat means let there be. So somebody is just saying, let there be money. It's not worth anything. It has no intrinsic value. Gold has intrinsic value. So all money is a means of exchange, and it's built entirely on trust. And once that trust in the money is lost, it has no value. And that's when you have insane levels of inflation. Now, inflation that we have right now is caused by that money printing. It's caused by the fact that the money has no intrinsic value and can just be manipulated. So the cost of living crisis is caused directly by money printing. Directly what happened during lockdown with the quantitative easing. And most people don't really understand that. But that's what happened there. And so our money is losing value. Now, there have been situations in history where countries have had, insane levels of inflation, and examples where in Germany. Now, to be honest, I don't know if this is after the First World War or the Second World War, that somebody would be going around with a wheelbarrow full of cash, and they would go into the shop to buy something. They'd have to leave the wheelbarrow outside, and when they come back out, the cash was still there, but the wheelbarrow was gone. Okay? Another situation I heard was, I think in Argentina, where there would be, people would go into a restaurant, there would be a menu, there would be no prices on the menu because the rate of inflation was so high that the owners of the restaurant actually didn't know how much the meal was going to cost, because it would be different at the time when the customer arrived to when the customer left. So these are signs of extreme inflation. But inflation itself is caused by a corrupt money system, which is what a fiat currency is. It's based on debt. So essentially what is happening when money is being printed, it's essentially putting off paying back debt. And being in debt is, in a sense, being in slavery. The two things are intrinsically linked. And the way out, what is the way out of that? The way out of that is a gold standard. And at the moment, what's happening, interestingly, is that China is buying huge amounts of gold. So China, the Chinese government is obviously realizing that they need a gold-backed currency if they want to weather any financial storm. So this is my first discussion on the economy, and I'm going to come back and talk about definitions, and I'm going to do a few more videos on economics because it's an exceedingly important topic. Now, what has this got to do with education and home education and whatever? Well, we've just been talking about the future. We've been talking about preparing for the next generation, thinking of the future of the nation as well as the future of our children, because the two things are, again, intrinsically linked. And it's really important that children grow up understanding economics. The reason that they don't is because the adults around them don't understand. But if we have any hope of reining things in, fixing things, we need to have a generation, we need to educate the next generation in economics so that they can put things right, or at least begin to put things right. Because our generation, we don't know anything. I did a higher in economics and I learnt nothing in that. How many years did I do? 5 or something, and I didn't really learn anything, just the law of supply and demand. The law of supply and demand, I'll tell you what that is. If supply goes up, then price goes down, and if demand goes up, price goes up. So, very simple. And then the caveat, all other things being equal, which in a real life economy, that never happens. Other things always change. Okay, so I'm going to come back and next time we'll look at definitions, and then we'll continue on with a little bit of a look at economics. Okay, so thanks a lot and see you next time.